think the whole history of World Cups in Australia is pretty good. It's a big game, but we should be looking very closely at this Australian team this morning.
And Uruguay have given us one of these stories of this World Cup, haven't they? The scenes at the end of that Fiji game were, I mean, we're not expecting a repeat today, but they were phenomenal and what a World Cup is all about.
Oh, they were magnificent. And upset themselves against Australia, and they thoroughly deserved it. And their captain afterwards, his post-match interview, the emotion that they played with was endearing, wasn't it? So really looking forward to seeing side that are under a bit of pressure.
That emotional captain that Lawrence talks about, Juan Manuel Gaminaro, actually on the bench today, but here they are lining up in the tunnel. So let's join our commentary team then for this one. Scott Hastings, Alan Quinlan.
Mark, as you were saying in the studio, a fortnight on from now, this is where England will hope to be playing the quarter-final, perhaps against Australia, wearing their indigenous alternate strip today. You can see them on the left there, on the right, Uruguay also wearing their change. So a chance here for the Wallabies to get a feel of the Oita greenhouse. It feels like when you're down there at ground level. The immediate concern for Australia is keeping up the pressure on pool leaders Wales. And Michael Cheika has selected a 23-man squad with a depth of experience. Close to. He's almost got 500 caps on the bench. An average of 50 caps a man across the matchday squad. Jordan Pataya making his Test debut. Kurtley Beale there. He has been a Test match rugby player for a decade. Juan Pedro Rombis there, facing up to what is a Herculean task for the Uruguayans.
National anthems of Uruguay and Australia.
それではここで両チーム国歌の演奏です。ウルグアイ国歌に続いてオーストラリア国歌の演奏となります。
checker, a tormented soul. Space. Kick off under the roof is next.
Discovery, worldwide partner of Rugby World Cup 2019.
Things are not always going to go to plan. If things aren't going your way, then you need to be able to adapt on the fly. I think the most challenging part is having patience. You often run out of patience, especially when you're tired. I basically take a lot of inspiration from the little ones, and hopefully I can inspire them to do something with their lives as well.
The award-winning Dacia Duster from only $10,995. Search Dacia Duster. Dacia, you do the maths. Ma.
Coverage sponsored by Confused.com.
Time to take a quick look at the teams. Captain Michael Hooper, one of just 3 players who started against Wales last weekend, who do so again here for the Wallabies. Uruguay, many people's favourite second team. Suggests fatigue has become a factor. They've made 9 alterations. So we're all set to go. Mathieu Reynal of France, a man with a fair old backstory himself. I'll tell you a bit about that a little bit later on. He is the referee, one of Lelefano, who gets us underway. Australia in those indigenous alternate jerseys. Uruguay wearing white for the first time at this World Cup. Absolutely crucial to get the basic stuff right from that first kick for touch, and they've done that. But Alan Quinlan up front. They conceded an awful lot of penalties last weekend. That is really going to be a test for the Uruguayans.
Yeah, they had a huge amount of problems. Set piece line-up was good, but the scrum was a real problem, and they had issues. Game, so they've got to get that stuff right today. Be really compact in defence. We know how good Australia can be in the attack.
That was Nick White feeding on to Matt Tamua. Another carry there in midfield. White, they're wearing 8. Salah. Nick White, out of Exeter, carried forward there by Adam Coleman, son of a former Tonga captain. Is that a turnover? That's impressive stuff from Uruguay. Eventually, Mathieu Reynal blows the whistle. So in some respects, I suppose you could say, Scott, first blood to the men in white.
Yeah, Martin, I was going to suggest that Uruguay were going to have to make a massive amount of tackles, but wasn't it Manuel Ardal over the top of the ball, got the turnover. And a lot of people in the stadium, speaking to the likes of George Greig and Tim Horan beforehand, think this could be a cricket score for Australia. But a great atmosphere inside this stadium. Tremendous turnover, targeting the ball.
Yeah, and he's not the tallest guy as well. Gets in a real good low body position. Very similar stature to Gamanara, the captain, who's on the bench today, and that was brilliant. They're so competitive at the breakdown. Australia got to be precise when they're making those carries.
The man with the black hat there, that's Manuel Leindecker, plays his club rugby in France for Oyonnax in the 2nd division. He will be the most likely line-out target. There you go. Called that one, but then it was still forward by Manuel Ardal. Positive column for Ardal, and now one in the negative column.
Yeah. Just the basic errors. If Uruguay are going to stay in this game, it's the unforced errors that if they mount up during a game, suddenly it's costing them possession, it's costing them time on the ball, costing them territory.
Now focus on this scrum here, and here on the blind side is Lucan Salakai Lotto wearing 8, and locking in at 6 there Jack Dempsey. Now This, of course, doesn't follow convention, and there is no other reason for that change in convention other than the fact that those who stitch the numbers on the back of the jerseys in the Australia camp got the sizings wrong. They stitched the 6 on what should have been the 8 and the 8 on what should have been in the 6. So if I suppose we're talking, that's one way the Australians have slipped up this week.
Yeah, I don't think it makes a huge difference to the players, but it does throw off, I suppose, our team sheets. We've got to change up, but it's no big issue, I think. But it's strange. It doesn't normally happen, does it?
I'm sure somebody somewhere has got a wrap across the wrist.
Someone is going to have to pay the price, yeah.
The catch there from Salakai Lotto.
One stop. One stop.
We mentioned the scrum, Martin, a minute ago. And Uruguay first.
Yes, New Zealand put a cricket score on Canada here during the week. Australia scored 11 tries against the Uruguayans 4 years ago when they met. The only other time they've met at Villa Park. Through goes the captain there, Michael Hooper. Little polite slap across the shoulder there from Nick White. That's Adam Coleman. Then the big fly hack from the captain. It may well fall into Curly Beale's hands. It's not Curly Beale's. Kurandrani in there. There's a knock-on from Uruguay, so there is a scrum advantage. Salakai Lotto. Vainga plays scrum half. He's got Nick White behind him. There's White onto Tamua, and look at the space out wide here. It's a straight 2-on-1. It's a walk-in for Dane Haylett-Petty. 5 minutes gone. First try from the Wallabies.
Well, after the ricochet of the kick, Kurandrani went into the left-hand corner. That sucked in all the Uruguayan defenders. It was just going to go wide. Great wraparound play here when Nick White forces the pass through the back of the legs. But here's the ricochet. Beale goes in, fumbles the ball. Kurandrani, it was a good tackle there by the winger, Favaro. But you could see the space on the outside. Beale, you could hear him actually scream from up here. And Haylett-Petty, well, he's not going to get an easier score than that. Just a walk-in.
Here's one for me. I don't think that try should be allowed. Adam Coleman came in at the side of that ruck there, completely off his feet with a side entry on Rodrigo Silva, and it should go back for a penalty for that. It's not been shown to us, but he came straight in from the side off his feet. It's good execution, and Villacheka gets way too. For Haylett-Petty. I'd love to see that ruck again, just when Kurandrani catches the ball. Silva got his hands on the ball and that side entry.
So a first shot at the post for Christian Leali'ifano. Well, this is the half-back combination, White and Leali'ifano, which George Gregan. That's just the sort of first kick of the kicking tee that Christian Leali'ifano will have enjoyed. Just that gentle draw on it. Part, hasn't he? Quite a turnover of tries for appearances for the Melbourne Rebel. That's Adam Coleman. Ball lost forward. Saw an awful lot of that stuff in the first half in the game here between the All Blacks and Canada during the week. Keeping hold of that ball, there was almost a typical evening dew on the grass around lunchtime here. It's very, very slippery indeed. Across comes, that was Inciate on from the scrum half, Omaichea. Berchesi That was the captain, Villaseca. Now some space, a chance here for Freitas. Important tackle. The referee has called a wallaby for coming in from the side. Oh, they're off and running. This is certainly ambitious stuff. That was Nicolas Freitas.
10 meters, please.
Quick thinking from the
corner, trying for a drive here.
It was lovely play though, wasn't it, Scott? Great attack, precision, ball out in front, loads of width, and we spoke about Berchesi. He's
at fullback, he's normally a winger, he's coming, he's a strong runner as well. And Chiati in the centre, they certainly have a skill base, as we saw against the Fijians when they got that win in the opening weekend of Rugby World Cup.
Third straight start.
Tackle! Tackle! Tackle!
Uruguay drop with that, but it will be a Uruguayan put in at the scrum. That's a crucial call for the South Americans.
Yeah, and Matthew Ronal clearly says there was a leg on the ground there. The Australians thought they held it up. It's good execution, but ball not transferred right back. You want your hooker to get that. There was a leg on the ground there, but it's a great opportunity. But the key here is, can they get this scrum right? It's a brilliant platform. It's a brilliant area to attack. They've got to get an angle here for them. Diana, such a good footballer at number 8.
Changing room, clear space, and no leaning on the opponent, okay? Clear space, please.
That is Juan Diego Ormaiche in the starting 15 here for the first time at this World Cup. Their father, World Cup when he was 40.
Bye.
So it's their third match in 11 days, the Uruguayans.
Boss, please come on, okay? That's your job. Give us a clear space. Boss, more space.
That is Nicolas Freitas, who has been one of the most potent attacking weapons for Uruguay at this World Cup. He too has started all 3 matches.
Crutch! Bye!
Put in. Diana there at number 8 with a pick up. Out of my chair, here comes Freitas, bursting through, they're 2 meters out. But the ball went forward there, but the referee was already playing. Australians.
Well, I asked Arbello, could he do it? I questioned it here, and he did. The ball shoots out, Diana breaks off. I just think Freitas there, he's such an abrasive runner. It's a great little line. Panics, doesn't need a 6 trying to pick it.
Yeah, but you saw the pass was back there. If they'd gone to Berchesi, who was running that wraparound play, they were certainly over this near side. Unlucky.
Gone for the post. You can't blame him to get something on the board, but it was a great chance, wasn't it? If they just had a little bit of control and patience there.
Well, points on the board is something the Canadians failed to do during the week against the All Blacks. It is Felipe Berchesi, who plays his club rugby in the southwest of France for Dax. We talk a lot about the atmospheric conditions, guys, here, but having taken a walk on the pitch a bit earlier, it is superb. The surface, yes, there's a little bit of a dewy covering.
So it's an athletic stadium, but with both ends just open on either side. You can just see behind the back of the post there, there's a bit of coolness coming through. It's not as humid as other grounds across Japan. And to play in these arenas, they've been fabulous atmospheres, and Uruguay have responded accordingly.
There's Rodrigo Silva there with a little step.
High tackle.
Another high tackle here from the Wallabies. So Garces is going to have a word with his mate.
Yeah, there is a direct contact to the head, but the player deep in the eye. But because it's the second one, we will maybe check for a yellow card from my view. Yeah? Step inside or outside. Okay. We check, please, the full player, the number 5 green.
Yeah, showing you the footage, Matthew.
Thank you.
The man in the dock is Adam Coleman.
You can see their first contact is with the shoulder, Matthew.
Yeah.
The first contact is with the shoulder.
So I see a contact over the shoulder. Now show me the angle from show me this angle again, please. Show me this angle again, please, Kenny. This one. Freeze the frame. Okay, now. Okay, for me that's the neck. Captain, please. Yeah, Michael, please. So there is two things. First one is the second high tackle in just 3 minutes. In the high, so I will give a yellow card to the number 5 green.
So Adam Coleman goes into the sin bin. Fair call, fellas, or is that more fodder for Michael Cheika?
Well, from my perspective, yes, it is just a yellow card because it was the second high tackle. But Alan, you were saying earlier on, weren't you, that he took out down in this near side one of the first attacks that led to Haylett Petty's try. You were saying there was a takeout, weren't you, that you felt it was going to be penalised?
Yeah, there's been a couple. I think it's a harsh yellow card on him. It is a yellow card, if that makes sense, but it's harsh. He's dipping down a little bit there. Coleman is 6'7" or 8". There's no swinging arm, but look, it's to try and protect the players, and just continuously we've seen a fair few of them at this World Cup. We're going to see them going forward. Players have just got to learn how to readjust in their approach.
Use it.
Obviously not my chair being urged to use it. There's one for high ball. White. That was Simmons just getting in his way, and there's a hand in there, and that's a knock-on from the captain, Villaseca.
It's risky, isn't it? We saw Will Genia against Wales. When you take 2 or 3 steps, Scott, with the ball, you're giving the defence a chance to kind of shoot out of the line.
Yeah, Nick White, I've been a great admirer of him. He's really made them tick, and of course when you've got Will Genia coming off the pitch, he can dictate a change in the Aussie attack. But
against them last week.
Absolutely, and the mindset of the Aussies, and a lot of the talk before the game, even myself saying that this could be a cricket score. It doesn't have to be a cricket score in the first 20 minutes. It's as the Australians will command this performance, but little mistakes like that will play into the Uruguayans' hands.
We did see some fairly low cricket scores in the recent Ashes. Not necessarily by Australia, though. Here goes Nick White. Eliafano. Here goes Kurandrani. Good tackle around the ankles from Inciarte. Not protecting the ball. They're rather lucky there to get a second bite. Here's Nick White. Lelifano again. On there from Matt Tamua. Curtly Beale, a little pop over the top. We've seen some space here. Berchesi missed it. Silva didn't. Ormaiche is into position. Look at James Slipper there. Well, was that a false start from James Slipper, the loose head? Here goes. Just scooping that up. The official over on the far side, Jerome Garces. Well, you heard a scream there from Agustino Maichea. I think he felt that perhaps a little bit high, or at least...
No, stay back. Stay back.
On Maichea again. Here's Haylet Petty.
Hands off, White.
Haylet Petty has moved on to the wing here from fullback.
On the ground.
And that's a bad penalty to give away from Maichea there. He gets the instructions, hands off. Australia have had to retreat back. It's a bit great opportunity for Tamua to put the ball down inside the 22, launch that attack. They've just got to be smart. Win and win very well. But they're the little moments where the weaker side, they make it that little bit easier for them, don't they? They've got to just make good decisions around those moments in the game. It's easier said than done, but just let them have the ball there, defend.
Work out, you know, play to your systems, play to what you've been on the training paddock. Just get your accuracy right in the line out. You can set your phase play, and you've got enough attack.
Alalatoa, the tight head, presenting it for the scrum half. Lelifana, Kuridrani. Inside ball again. This time it's the captain, Hooper. He's spinning and turning. Can he get it down? Well, you can hear the claims for a try, but was there a Uruguayan to Ben Skeen, the television match official?
Sorry, mate. I don't have a clear grounding, so my on-field decision is a scrum 5 for Australia.
So on-field decision, no try. Checking footage for you.
We certainly brought down short there. Don't know if we're going to see anything from this side. No, that looks as though it's held up there. Wasn't it? And Charte, look at the way the centre just rolls and holds his man up.
Okay, so no clear grounding for you?
Hold on, Matthew.
Okay, happy, thanks.
Attack though from Australia to set up that position. 2 inside passes that checks the opposition defence. That's allowed Australia this 5-metre scrum. And you expect the class of the backs to maybe the scrum tight and go for a pushover try, Alan.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if they don't test the waters there and try and get it rumbling forward a little. That's exactly what he wants to do, keep it in there. I know Lelifana will want the ball, Kuridrani, Tamua, these guys, Kurtley, Beale and Petty, a lot of great attacking players out. Australia, Coleman's in the bin.
Bang! Set!
There you can see him wearing 11, being controlled there. That was Jack Dempsey. We've already covered the reasons for that. There is Alan Alalatoa, the Brumby.
Probably makes more sense to get it out of there when you have 7. They're getting a little bit of a rumble on there.
Just attack, but they're going to tie in the forward pack and then maybe launch their attack. I'm just surprised they kept it in. I think, you know, I'm down.
Bang!
When I was talking a second ago, they're still capable with the 7 forwards. They've had so many issues in the scrum, Uruguay. Gattas suspended for 3 weeks for that sending off against Georgia last week, so
what's your thoughts on, because Uruguay, when they started, compared to the Fijian match where they were flooding the contact zone, they were playing with such heart, and then they lost against Georgia. It was a dispirited performance.
Well, let's draw a comparison here with Japan 4 years ago. Magnificent performance on the Saturday against South Africa, won that match. They then moved on to Kingsholm just 4 days later, and they conceded 40-odd points against the Scots before picking themselves up and winning their next 2 matches. So there's no doubt there's precedent there for the match immediately after the 4-match or 4-day break, where teams really do struggle after a day of euphoria to lift themselves again.
yeah, and they had such an emotional high. It's very difficult. Even if you have a week after that high, you're not expected to win the game. They're drained, day traveling, very difficult. And then the basics probably let them down. Effort level and work rate, and you know, they're hanging in there. 20 minutes gone, and they're being really competitive.
Australia back line have had plenty of time to get on message, and there you can see the Uruguayans applying pressure to that 7-man scrum. Ormaechea getting his hands in, so too eventually Nick White. Hooper. And getting himself locked over the ball, there's Juan Diego Ormaechea. He may well have turned that over for Uruguay. A little bit unfortunate there.
I feel a little bit aggrieved. Again, I'm surprised that Australia just didn't move the ball away from that original scrum.
Yeah, and it was actually Echeverria just gets that angle here, and he's unlucky here. He locks in there. That's a penalty. He got
his hand.
Trying to remove him. He's very unlucky that they didn't get rewarded with a penalty there. But it's sloppy from Australia, isn't it? It's a bit like maybe they're expecting it to happen. That early try was easy, and it can happen. Teams, they haven't resourced the threat that Uruguay posed there. It will happen from. They've just got to be a lot sharper.
So there's the ball. Well, it's been turned, and Ormaechea eventually does have the ball in hand, so he is rewarded. There's his brother, Agustin, back to Berchesi. And the crowd are loving this. Wearing yellow.
Well, a tremendous scrum once again. Uruguay just putting the lock on the power play up front, putting pressure on there on Nick White. Got the ball back here, Ormaechea, and a tremendous exit kick from Berchesi.
Much of the delight there of their coach Esteban Menezes. Here goes Hooper, just spinning and turning through the tackle. White just getting the ball away. That was to Salakai Lotto. The captain, for the second it was who took him down. This is rather better continuity, but once again, Uruguayans just scrapping for every loose ball. Curtly Beale getting involved in Australia. James Slipper with insight here of the Uruguayan 22. Curtly Beale, Kurandrani again. The rumble through from the hooker, that's Fainga. Leilifano just skipping through the... Curtly Beale, Kurandrani, a chance to run for the youngster Pataya. debut here for the Wallabies. First time a Wallaby has made his debut at the World Cup since Berwick Barnes 12 years ago.
Advantage again.
Penalty advantage. Jordan Pataya, 24 minutes into his Test career, and he's
for the youngster. Tremendous from Pataya. 19 years of age. Beal.
Give me a clear picture, okay? They go straight to the ground 2 times on a row, okay? Ask them to get up and
potentially could have been given, but look at Beal. With Pataya, lovely little step there to get through, but he telegraphed his run well. Drani outside, and a lovely ball handler in Tamua. It kind of, as a defender in that centre midfield position, you hesitate a wee bit, but you'll have noticed defence is absolutely opening up gaps for Australia, hence the reason they've got their second try on the books.
There he is, born just a matter of weeks. Makes one or two of us feel perhaps even more senior than we are.
Very old. To just come in for them to be more direct, just with those initial first couple of phases, resource them well, because every time there's a Uruguayan hand, they're trying to turn the ball over, they're trying to slow it down, and
jersey of Jack Dempsey, and I caught a quick word with Michael Hooper yesterday, because if you cast your minds back to the match during the week when you're try line, and Hooper said that the technique in these conditions is just try and keep the ball away from your jersey. In the match, you rest it against your chest, the ball just slips away.
Yeah, that was like Alan Quinlan in the gym yesterday, passing me a bottle of water.
didn't do any work. You just poured the water over your head and told everyone you did a big hard workout. Then you did nothing.
The carry from Manuel Diana, but then it's lost forward. Again, another of those problems. The fly half, Berchesi. Here's Berchesi, swings it out to Freitas on the wing. Freitas, past two men, past three. Impressive stuff, Inciarte that time. Another powerful run from Ormaechea, Juan Diego. They were sadly missing last weekend in Kumagaya, but I think Mathieu Reynard is checking the tackle from Kurtley Beale here.
Yeah, it was high tackle on Beale. The offloads out the tackle down the tram lines. That is spectacular play from Uruguay. Beale acknowledging the fact that he just went.
And it's Freitas. We spoke about him, Martin, didn't we? We were looking out for him against fantastically well there to get away. And that's brilliant to see. You can see the mentality this Uruguayan time, and contrast that to Georgia last week when they were tired. They are inferior to this Australian side, but that's brilliant to see that ambition That execution, what a brilliant carry then from Ormachea, the 7, pumping the legs, the crowd are out of their seats.
To Moden, here comes Ormachea. Holding on to him there is opposite number, the captain Michael Hooper. Still going on goes Ormachea. Is that slightly high on Diana? Diana's gone to ground. The arm is out again. The chip over the top. Nick White gathers it, but will come back for the penalty. Reynal. He's gone to his pocket.
So, Michael, there is again, and I tackle. So me, I will not do one step back. Your player have to change the behavior. Call the number 8, he will go on the bench.
So it's going to be... Australia, when we get to half-time, will have played a quarter of the match with only 14 men on the pitch.
Some kind of lotto there.
He's got to go lower there. It's sloppy, and Reynal is losing his patience, and I think it's just poor from us. Sloppy.
Ball at the front. Ball is here, available.
His brother standing off. Here goes Juan Diego.
Push back.
There is Lamana. Percesi, the captain, Velaseca. Can Uruguay make something of their fortune? There's Diana. Look at Ormachea. He's up for this.
And then Adao.
I'm looking at the outshining at the moment for me. Michael Hooper, sorry, is the more illustrious opposite. And ultimately, Australia playing with 14 men for 20 minutes of this opening half.
Basic errors from Australia. Gets to ground, it's been turned over. Chance here for Haylett Petty. A sportsman. Tamua. An opportunity again for Pataya to run. Pataya to Kurandrani. Wonderfully worked by Australia. We've seen some awful and scrappy stuff from Australia today, but that was out of the top drawer.
Yeah, I thought Nick White did really well. A good little rip here from Hooper. There he is, comes away with the ball, and it was Nick White's pass there. And then once Beale got the ball, a Kurandrani, and Pataya's got good feet, hasn't he? He created the try for Kurandrani, but also Beale with the two hands teasing that Uruguay.
Than I do, but Kurandrani deserves so much credit for this. Does the simple thing. If you're coaching a group of kids, when you give that pass, don't stop, keep running that inside line, and that's exactly what he did there. Nothing flash, just get it to Pataya, he comes back in, and then when you give the pass, keep moving. And that's what he did brilliantly there, Kurandrani. Simple stuff, just patience, get a little bit of width. They've been so competitive.
Well, that wasn't quite damn bigger against Georgia. Lelepano. 3 tries, though, to the Wallabies, inside to the try bonus. Tavita Kurandrani, one of the Wallabies here, who started the final 4 years ago against the All Blacks. Berchesi. Deal. Injection of pace from the fullback. Pataya takes it on the run. There's the support, well followed up by Jack Dempsey. Here, Lelepano. Tamua. Now it was Adam Coleman.
Tackle of the ball. Tackle the man off the ball.
Didn't have the ball.
And that's a tempo that'll hurt Uruguay, isn't it? You know, Armachea did really well, or Villaseca, sorry, did really well from the kickoff there. Great little kickoff from Berchesi. Gets the hand to it. It's picked up by Kurandrani, and straight away they're getting width, pace, movement, running onto the ball. And that's the kind of stuff that could really hurt this side.
You might have seen there. That's a tribute to his stepfather who died last year, which actually prompted Lucan to change his name. You might remember him as Lucan Tui. Now Lucan Salakai Lotto. Well, concern. On goes Kessler.
Second man in. First ruck.
Well, Martin, if I had one word for the Australians, it's just been a little bit sloppy for them. There's Michael Cheika looking on, and you know, they're in a privileged position in 19-3, and they've had 2 men in the sin bin, and they've been quite fortunate, actually, that Uruguay just haven't quite managed to polish off some of their moves when they've had pressure on.
You sat with me before and after the Ireland-Russia game on Thursday night. Some similarities, isn't there? There's a few similarities with the, you know, with them being frustrated a little bit and not kind of finding their flow. I'm looking for
are in that same group. They'll be off to Russia next week, Shizuoka, and of course Japan, the host, playing Samoa after this game.
Well, Australia, who averaged 7 penalties, conceding 7 penalties throughout the Rugby Championship. Now that is against the All Blacks, against South Africa, against Argentina. Minutes, so in a territorial game like this, when you come up against, dare I say, stronger opposition, as Australia certainly will do, when we... the difference between winning and losing a match.
Oh, Slipper's perfectly.
Definitely played for it, didn't he, Berchesi?
Played for it?
Yeah,
I'll give him an Oscar.
Slipper didn't move forward, or he just turned around. He's entitled to do that. And I'll ask him, everything okay with that?
Lane Decker, 6'8", being used rather more as a decoy line-out man today. So the scrum will be Australia's. There is Esteban Menezes, an Argentinian. His support staff. Rico Todeschini, the kicking coach, former Puma. So too their line-out coach, Pablo Buza. I think you also know the the strength and conditioning coach, Craig White. Been working with the
worked
Uruguayans.
Ireland, he worked at Ireland for a number of years, Wasps. That was probably a big part of their preparation. It has been for all the Tier 2 nations, Martin, is to try and align them with people who maybe have had experience at the top level around the conditioning, the fitness, because it certainly gives them a better chance, aside from quality and stuff that we might see and the difference in qualities. At least if they're fit, conditioned well, and they can keep going in the games, and we've seen that's been a real positive for the Tier 2 sides.
And let's, you know, cut to the chase. One of the criticisms which is sometimes levelled at World Rugby is that the so-called Tier 1 and Tier 2, there's not enough cross-pollination, for want of a better expression. They don't play one another terribly often, so when the likes of Uruguay come to World Cups, inevitably the tempo is going to be that much quicker. So the role of a strength and conditioning coach is that much more important.
Very much so. And I was speaking to Gareth Rees there the other day, who's part of the Canadian management team. And I was saying to him, we have the same conversation every strength and conditioning, right, to get their preparation. Like, look at Cheika.
He's not having a good day, is he?
He's so frustrated. Who'd be a coach? But just going back to Gareth Rees, you know, it is a problem for the world game, and I know that Augustin Pichot was trying to develop a global league at one point, but I think there's a responsibility in Tier 1 nations. They must be an edict from World Rugby to go and play these nations, to go into the backyards and try and develop the game. But it's the intensity of the competition. Of course, teams are going to peak once every 4 years for a World Cup, and this is massive for Uruguayan rugby, and to play a team such as Australia.
So the last 2 minutes of the first half, Australia leading by 19 points to 3.
Tier 2, Japan, Ireland. That's the one that proves that the gap is closing a bit.
Now from White. Ball being left behind there by Adam Coleman. It's Silva. Favaro there, haven't seen too much of him on the right wing. His first involvement in this World Cup. Oromaichea had to do rather well to grab that. He almost overtook the ball, if you know what I mean.
Off, end off. Ball is here.
Here's Agustin Oromaichea.
Back.
Inciarte. Oromaichea. His brother, little poke over the top. That's meant for Silva. Well grabbed in return. Well, neat little pass out of the back of the hand. They're away and clear. Inciarte. What a moment for Uruguay. And in all honesty, fully deserved.
Was superb, and pinching the ball off the back of that ruck. Tremendous play for the Uruguayans, getting the ball in there. Inciarte was the original hit, wasn't he, Alan?
Yeah, he was, and he tried to counter ruck then, and it's Diana. What a lovely little pass, offload, the ambition. I tell you, I mentioned several of these guys against Fiji about the fantastic, incredible, heartening performance. But there's a man today, Oromaichea, number 7 in the first half. He's just been incredible.
Time off. Time off. TMO check.
They have a problem here. They may not get this try. They're going to the TMO.
Okay.
Yep. We have a ruck here. Yeah. Watch the angle, number 8 coming across. He is then the player who picks up the ball.
Sure.
is never onside. He is never behind the hindmost when he picks up the ball, Matthew.
Oh, I fear this is not going to have a happy ending.
Jerome, agree? Okay. Captain, please. No.
This is going to be a tough listen for followers of Uruguay.
Number 8 is offside, so no try, okay? Yeah. Okay, we come back, Captain. Michael, please come.
The day he thought he scored a try against the mighty Wallabies.
Captain, please. So we cannot. But there is a side entry for the green, so we come back to the initial infringement, side entry against green.
So the consolation prize
First
is a penalty.
Yeah, was there any Uruguayans in there, and was the ball out?
Well, first of all, it was side entry. There was a ruck, and he was right on the cusp of the offside line, wasn't he? He was. Well, Ben Skeen's
probably the correct. It's probably the correct call. He probably has to just retreat and show a picture of at least coming around
and come through the gate.
His own. Yeah, you can. If the ball probably came out at that side.
We'll get the guys in the studio to explain that.
Kessler. There goes Kessler again. The one thing you can be certain of, it's going to spur the Uruguayans on. There's Lane Decker. Ormaichea to his brother. Which will bring us half-time. Berchesi, the captain. That's Villaseca. Holding on to him there, Salakai Lotto, one of the two players who's been sent to the sin bin in this first half. Oh, and then it's spilt forward. Matt Tamua, can they create something here? Curtly Beale, who... That will bring the whistle for half-time. Well, I wonder, is there much for England and the rest to worry about on the strength of that first 40 minutes from the Wallabies?
Stadium, and if you're just waking up, England are in action later this morning against Argentina. Another win would secure a quarter-final place for England, all the build-up in about 50 minutes' time. And back to our live game at the moment. Uruguay have been in a lot of good positions, but they haven't been clinical enough. But here, well, even scored. But when you look at it again, Lawrence, there is clearly an offside against the number 8 coming.
Yeah, I mean, the TMO's come in and made the right decision. It's terribly disappointing for Uruguay and their fans because they deserved a try, but it is the correct decision.
So what do you want to see from Australia in the second half? We assume they're going to win.
Yeah, I just want to see a little bit more discipline, a little bit more of a plan. You know, they're making mistakes in the first half that shows know they're going to win the game. Let's just go out and some brilliance will pull it off without doing the discipline things right. I hope Checker at half-time basically said, you know, let's get some structure going, let's work our forwards well and use the moves, etc. You score.
Yeah, we may not show the England game because we want the Michael Checker press conference live. It might be so entertaining. Australia made a change at half-time. Scott Hastings, Alan Quinlan and Martin Gillingham to tell you what it's all about.
Adam Ashley Cooper has come on. I'm actually looking around. I can't see Jordan Pataya at the moment. Also on, Taniela Tupou, who is the tight head, has gone off, but we'll confirm exactly what those alterations are in a couple of moments' time. But there is Silva. So 19 points to 3. facing the Uruguayans today, when we consider that this is the first time that Uruguay have played a so-called Tier 1 country since Australia, but also England and Wales.
Yeah, Martin, I think you've seen how some of the play that the Uruguayans have stitched together have been absolutely superb, right out the top drawer. But it's the finishing. They've been sloppy, and we saw at half-time here in the stadium, Michael Cheika was prowling around the Aussies' changing room, and I'm expecting a reaction this second 40 minutes from Australia.
Placed by Adam Ashley Cooper. Curly Burl, here goes Dane Haylett-Petty, score of the first try. A lot has happened since then. We thought that just perhaps the floodgates. Ashley Cooper. Remarkably, the Wallabies have almost 500 caps on the bench. Well, that was fired far too quickly. That was Tamua. Dane Haylett-Petty. Yes, there were originally going to be in excess of 500 caps on the bench, but then we heard, and this was an overnight call, James O'Connor picked up a bit of a niggle at the captain's run, the final training session. And Samu Karevi, with a mere 31 caps, has come onto the bench, so just 493 caps. Look at that.
Well, Tamua got one on the head there. Of course, no knock-on in rugby. You can head the ball, but when the ball was pumped downfield, the return kick from Haylett-Petty.
This one right on the bounce. I said his shoulder. It caught him on the forehead. That was Lane Decker taken.
It
was Manuel Ardao. Ball's inside the 22. The significance there is that Uruguay could go directly for touch, but the big hands of Adam Coleman. He's got quite a reach, hasn't he?
He certainly has. What, is he 6? Second rope.
See Pataya there with the ice and the hamstring. Got that try in the first half. Unfortunately, he had to. Hopefully, it's just a little twinge for him.
Kessler, look at that. That time it was the hand of Sid. White. Salakaya Lotto. That's Rob Simmons, the veteran. Ground by Berchesi. White, another rumble. He nearly got through the first time, same again the second time, but the ball has gone forward. Well, there are 1 and 2 places up for grabs. Seems determined to grab one of them.
He's just a boulder on the move, isn't he, Alan? How would you tackle him?
Yeah, the power, the leg drive. Such a big, strong, powerful man. He made a bit of a charge. That's his 3rd or 4th carry since he's come on at half-time. His opposite number, well, goes on to the shorts there. Big impact for him straight after half-time.
Yes, Taniela Tapo is a bit like a...
And it's this area of the field, Martin, where they go. Scotty was super kit by Haylett-Petty. But they've got to play territory this half.
But again, here's another indication, an early engage. And they dominated their play in the first half, and at the start of the second half, of course, Tamua knocked on off his, well, didn't knock on off his head, but couldn't catch the ball off his head. Just had a misunderstanding with Nick White, and you know they're just going to have to tidy up. And I often say it's about Route 1 rugby.
Basic done well by the Wallabies, and bursting through Kurandrani. One try already, terrific step. Well, he scored a try against Uruguay 4 years ago at Villa Park. He's collected 2 under the roof here in Japan.
Superb execution, line out throw right to the tail, exactly where you want to launch it from. You don't always get it there. Great passing then, and a superb line from Kurandrani. So difficult to stop. Watch the throw right to the tail. Just simple to get away. It was Rob Simmons right at the tail. I think Uruguay are expecting the ball out the back to Tamua, but he runs those lines superbly. His timing is good.
We've seen it time and again today, haven't we? That line coming in.
But it's the line out, Scott. If you're in the centre, you're running onto those ones, aren't you? When you win it at the tail.
It's about getting the basics right. They absolutely nailed the line out, the angle of running, the quality of the pass. And when you're a centre running those angles, and absolutely tremendous run. He's such a powerful runner, Kurandrani. He's such a threat for this Uruguayan defence, and he's opened them up for his second.
Now passing Jason Little in the all-time test scoring try stat. Second test try for Tavita Kurandrani. And that very attractive draw off the kicking tee from Lele Fano.
But Hugh Kurandrani, he's such an athlete, isn't he? Such a threat in that Australian midfield, and well, when it comes to making this Australian team tick.
So Berchesi, 1 or 2 players there wearing white. A little too quickly away, but also bursting with pace here. This is a tremendous run from Dempsey. Well, the support I think he was expecting the ball was Ashley Cooper. That's Fainga. Here's Nick White. Here's Michael Hooper. Look at the big fella there. We need a scrum half. Salakai Lotto plays the role. It's into the hands of... Well, I did mention before kick-off the backstory of the referee today, Matthew. The opening fortnight or so, but Mathieu Reynal, 6 years ago, suffered one of the most horrific injuries you will ever see on a rugby. He broke a leg in 2 places, dislocated an ankle, and also broke a collarbone. And I caught up with him this morning in the hotel, and he told me how he actually spent the first 6 months after that injury in a for 2 years. And here he is, 6 years after that accident, coming back and refereeing in the World Cup. I think it's certainly the tip of the hat. Juan Pedro Rombi Cizon. He replaces Diego Arbelo.
Rush! Bind!
Alan, you've experienced conditions elsewhere in Japan, under the roof there, or testing here, you think, the climatic conditions than
No,
they are perhaps
I
at
think
Kobe?
it's a little bit cooler here, and Scotty said it at the start. There's at both ends of the ground, it's open, so there's a nice breeze coming through. You couldn't feel that in Kobe. I think looking down at the pitch, I know the jerseys are wet from the sweat and stuff from the players, but certainly not as bad.
Do you think time of day plays a role as well? Here goes Lelefano, Kurandrani. The tackle a little bit too high and ineffective. White, Hooper. They're within 6 meters of Australia. Have they finally hit their... That's Adam Coleman. Here he comes again. Is it going to be third? They've still got the ball, though, of Australia. Out to Tamua. Kurandrani just... Oh, and Fainga's lost it forward. And eventually Mathieu Reynal gets a nod and a wink from Jerome Garcia.
That attack, but once again, Kurandrani, the way he steps off his left, his power and pace, he was involved in this movement twice actually. Here he goes for the second time, just kind of brushes off Vilaseka, who's
so the Australians poised to unleash 187 caps from the bench. On comes Wilgenia. And also David Pocock, and he replaces the captain Michael Hooper. Michael Hooper, who's had a busy opening fortnight for Australia, who also started against Wales last weekend.
Which number?
Uruguay also making the alteration, so it's Santiago. And the defeat last weekend against Georgia, and off goes Juan, or should I say Agustin Ormaechea. Yes, if you did hear some slightly fruity language in your living room, we apologise for that. That's a rat.
If you're Uruguay now, you're thinking we're hanging on. Australia. Yeah, and Pocock coming off the bench. It doesn't get any better, does it?
189 caps between those two players. That's experience for you.
Genia. There is Pocock, you can see. Dempsey. Oh, through 2 tackles, Genia.
Yeah, Australia really finding their stride now, isn't it? But when you've got experience like that coming off the bench, but boiled down to...
So a landmark for Wilgenia.
I'm afraid it's going to be one-way traffic this second half now, Alan.
Turning, fending. Favaro missed that tackle. He tries to get back. There's just that pressure, and it's those just squeezing the life out of Uruguay. Czech will be happy. We spoke about him in half-time. Probably that real frustrating feeling going in off the field, and he was quite animated. Zip and a determination, and they'd be more physical, way more physical, getting on the front foot with those carries. You see Tupou, the impact he's made, Dempsey's made much easier for their talented backline to run onto the ball and punish Uruguay, find those spaces and those gaps in that backline.
It's quite a parabola from Christian Le. Squeezing through with some ease. Test try number 19 for Will Genia. George Gregan's tally was 18. Uruguay have made a change. Juan Manuel Gaminara, the captain for the first two fixtures, has replaced the Ormachea brothers. There's confirmation of that. Genia. Another powerful carry from Tupou. Berchesi doing well despite a bit of company, wearing that Wallabies indigenous alternate strip. There's Lamana, one of those two players who play. It is a measure of the golfing class when you consider that two players for Tier 2 nations here from the Darlington Moden Club. Matt Heaton as well from Canada. Well, this afternoon, Darlington Moden here at the World Cup, playing two-time champions Australia. Adam Ashley Cooper bursting through. There's still some pace in them legs for Adam Ashley Cooper. The follow-up from Kirtley.
Well, he's still got it in his legs, hasn't he, Ashley Cooper? But when you give Australia that good inside pass, that's caused a little bit of havoc in the first half. And it certainly caused havoc there. Good covering tackle, though, on that far side by Favaro. Head in the wrong position from a technical point of view, but brought down his man nevertheless. One of the big differences I've found in this Australian team is when your front five start bench, and Tupou, he's certainly made it, and also both second rows.
There's Gaminara. Daunting physical comparisons between the Uruguayans and the Wallabies. The likes of Gaminara, just 5'7". Test sides these days.
Guys, don't step
certainly not in the back row.
Very rarely do you see him that size, but he just... This is Ardo, who got a heavy knock there. They're just starting to feel the physical effects of these Australians, and as you said, Scott, just that dominance in the carry.
Here's James Slipper, earning his 94th cap today. Tamua. Ball just going.
There's a hand comes in here and slaps it out of Genia's hand there. He's not happy with that. Either is that man. It's just all front foot, isn't it? Over the gain line. Just so hard to defend. Line out there. Watch this. Really direct, straight attack. I think Arata's entitled to play that. He didn't actually slap down the hand, did he, Scotty? He's trying to hook it.
He's trying to intercept it, isn't he? 33 tackles, Uruguay. Look at the carries. It's starting to dominate now all over 590 metres. So it's a commanding performance from Australia. However, it has been a little bit shoddy.
Salakai Lotto just taking the ball inside the Uruguay half. Lelefano. Slipper. By Mathieu Renal. Faenga taking play again inside the Uruguay half. Hail at Petty, but we will come back for the penalty for the high tackle.
Just writing. I don't understand when the players are not driving their legs right in. Trouble from the referee. It's going to engage him. It's difficult, and I know it's difficult as a former player, but I'm surprised that so many of these are.
Well, George Gregan said to us before the match that he thinks that the white Lelefano is the best half-back combination for the Wallabies. Looking forward a fortnight to what is almost certainly a quarter-final back here. Thoughts in a couple of moments on that, Scott. Here's Genia. Kurandrani. All power. Mathieu Renal down on one knee, says no.
Oh, he's been denied the hat-trick. He was over the line, but he couldn't dot it down. But when this guy hits the angle and he gets it... Just you saw there, Villaseca just came out of position a little bit, which allows him to meet the ball. Who was held up there, Alan, you saw?
Yeah, it was Ardo, but great power, I think, for Uruguay. Just he's trying to spin over and touch it down, but it's front foot again. The line out is one, the maul, they're going forward. It's so hard to defend, it's really difficult to defend, and Australia can just run onto that, and he's so good. So much power through the tackle then.
The danger far from gone. The arm is out again from the referee. Picked up by Dempsey. Has a little pop himself. He's there for Genia. Slipper! Oh, what... He'd never scored a test match try. That's the reason for the reaction. Special, special moment for the loose head. His 94th cap. And the long test try.
There wasn't a chance he was passing that ball, Martin, was there? No chance. He's never passing. Head down, determination. He wraps the ball well, and that power gets him over the line. The action is brilliant to see, isn't it? All the players running in.
You can imagine he's been the butt of jokes probably for how many years?
Yeah, well, I tell you, I think back to Bordeaux in 2000 when John Hayes scored a try for Munster against Toulouse. Hayes never scores, but he did that day, and Slipper's coming off now.
Is he going to go for a lap of honour?
No, he's going to the bar to order up the round of drinks already. But the one thing... And that's why they're now getting results on the scoreboard.
Yes, there's only Owen Franks, the All Black, who's had a longer sequence of international appearances without scoring a try. 94th match. $40 points to 3. Impression, it was never going to be a 6.0, but it is the result that matters. A landmark moment for James Slipper.
is obviously carry the ball well, but they've resourced to work the ruck. They've really respected the threat from Uruguay, and they've just won collisions, and it's just made a massive difference, and it's been such an improved performance from Australia in the second half. They can take a lot out of this.
Advantage. White scrum.
They were slow into clean out those breakdowns, but they've been on the front foot, made the hard yards, and it's been really, really difficult.
Do it.
Pocock just knocking on that one.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay.
Most fluent performance, but it's been workmanlike from the Australians, and they know that as they go through this tournament, they're going to have to improve. They're going to have to get their set piece. Hooper is a combination in that back row. Certainly Dempsey this afternoon has really played his part.
Fine.
Rodrigo Silva has gone off. He's had a good World Cup so far.
Guys, keep the...
And, Silva has been replaced by that man, Felipe Echeverri.
Okay, we did another one. Next time, free kick against you.
Well, Uruguay conceded 11 tries at Villa Park. Six tries so far, so another 16 minutes, and I guess if you try and measure strides forward and improvement, conceding fewer points they did 4 years ago would represent some sort. There's Echeverri. The miscue, straight into touch.
Yeah, they've gone sloppy themselves, haven't they? Just a little bit, some floaty passes there. The scrum is under pressure. They're feeling it.
There is Jordan Ulesi, replacement. Oh, it's gone straight over the top to Rombis. And Rombis rumbles.
First, infringement.
Penalty against Dane Hellett-Petty.
Have to roll away.
Minutes, the first penalty that the Wallabies have conceded in this second half, but it does take their penalty concessions into double figures over the course of 65 minutes.
And that's probably a concern, the discipline and those high tackles in the first half, and 8 turnovers. You got to be better with the ball.
Herman Kessler wobbling just a little bit to the right with that throw.
Now, poor execution there, wasn't it? You just got to get your darts right.
That's Matt Tamua. In Australia after 3 seasons with the Leicester Tigers. Leilefano. Adam Ashley Cooper was calling for it. Great step. Did pull away from it. The cross kick from Tamua. Oh, it's landed on a sixpence, but I'm afraid Salakai Lotto couldn't quite grab it. Another.
Isn't it? I'm surprised that he cuts back inside Adam Ashley Cooper. Just take on keep going up along that touchline. That was a great kick. On the inside. I love the way Tamua puts his hand up when that wide ruck happened. He just stepped into first receiver, identifies him. Give me the ball.
Tamua, Curtly Beale. Good tackle coming in from Favaro.
Okay.
Here's David Pocock. Genia. Lelefano. Into the hands of Coleman. Coleman with the offload.
Backwards.
Slap backwards. They've still got it. Through for Haylett Petty. He's away and he's got another. Well, the Uruguayans, they're out on their feet. I'm sure they wouldn't have allowed that to happen in the first 10 minutes. Happened in slow motion.
Skinny.
Just a couple of questions being asked by Mathieu Reynal.
Skinny. Potential player in front of the last player who touched the ball, please. Number 20, Green. An offside position.
While they're looking at it, I can tell you that Uruguay have made an alter. Guillermo Pujadas.
Yeah, we're just going to play footage from here.
Oh, did he touch the ball?
No, there is nothing clear for me.
No, there's nothing clear there for.
Try.
So it's all come to nothing. The try scored, another one for Dane Haylett Petty. Is that fella? It's his fifth try for the Wallabies in 4 starts. A career that's seen quite a transformation. Seems only like a few years ago I saw him struggling in the beer. Then of being anywhere near the Australia radar, but he went home and his career has been rejuvenated. That time the gentle draw working against him.
Well, Martin, I said earlier on that the reason that Australia are making an impact is their big front five are making breaks. Coleman, but wasn't that a wonderful example? Feint to go for the chip, and he altered his position and put the grubber in, and Haylett Petty, well, he's had a great performance this afternoon as the winger from
time with the mitts of Salakai Lotto. Genia. Ashley Cooper. That just ricocheting, getting through the fingers and then just slipping off the chest. That's what Michael go to your chest. It almost seems to gather pace off it. Here on ITV coming up straight after this, England against Argentina. England win that. Kick-off. And then the third of the match is, well, the hosts back in action. They take on Samoa. 11:30, both of those. Looking forward to tomorrow. We've got New Zealand, Namibia, and also France, Tonga.
The ball in the rack.
So off goes Arata. Uruguay will want to hang on here. They certainly haven't been disgraced. It is worth reinforcing the point. It's the first time they have played one of the so-called Tier 1 nations since the last. To react very quickly to grab that, which when you consider the conditions here and the slipperiness of the ball, he did rather well. The little pass there to Pujadas. Oh dear, Rombis dropped it, but back through his legs. We're going to come back for a side entry at the ruck from
humidity has increased certainly as the game has gone on, but as we know from Uruguay, they will stick to their this line out and finish with a try against Australia.
And that's a point worth noting, because the quarter-final in a fortnight does kick off 2 hours later. Rating will go up that much more later in the day. Gaminara trying to find a gap. There was a Rata. Denied a try just before half-time. Will they get some reward here? It would Diana, but he's getting forced back. Powerful work there from Adam Coleman. Here's Rombis. Getting no change there.
Roll away, hands off. Tackler first, have to roll away.
Now this ball's not going particularly wide. Gaminara with a low body position. The man who at 5'7" is a bit shorter than the average. Sixth phase here for Uruguay. The crowd getting behind them.
Away, tackler. Stay back the line, back the line, back the line.
Mathieu Reynal just checking the Australians are not creeping offside. And another dart. The ball is still from Uruguay ball.
Yeah, the scrum is probably no good to them here, because they've got to get it in and out really quickly. But credit to them, 73 minutes gone. They're trying to get that score. They've been dominated by Australia. Rata here crawling forward. They regrouped. This is the one. They regroup and they regenerate the ball there. Keep rumbling and get very, very close to that line.
Yeah, Pedro Bombas did well as well, but they're short and squat. They're technically, they drive. They put Australia under pressure. They did very well to continue to pepper that try line. So what can they do from this scrum?
And this is probably an concede a try. That's what their defence coach Nathan Gray will want, and you can build confidence from that, can't you, Scott? A bit of a togetherness to go off and say, okay, it wasn't perfect, we scored X amount of tries, but we didn't let them in.
No, that's the beauty of the game. You take the positives, you move games that undoubtedly going to come.
A feather in the cap for the locals here in the Deep South. Attendance
Crunch. Fine. Oh, boss. We keep the space. Huh? Yeah. C'è un espacio, por favor.
Well, we anticipate the post-match reaction from Michael Cheika. How happy do you think he'll be with today?
He'll be pleased, very pleased with the second half. A few errors and handling mistakes and things like that. It's so much better. So I think he'll be pleased overall.
Well, they're in reverse here, are the Uruguayans. There's Gaminara.
You're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't in these games. They're kind of coming up against the passion and enthusiasm of Uruguay and them making it difficult for Australia. So I think look at the mistakes and the errors and the discipline and some of those turnovers. And like you say, Martin, if they're playing England here in 2 weeks, they've got to be a lot more clinical.
Against the Wallabies 4 years ago at Villa Park. They didn't score a try. All they had to show for it was a single penalty. It's the same so far today. They have conceded 7 tries, so in that respect, it looks like being a better afternoon. But how much would a try here mean to them? They thought they had one just before half-time from Thomas Inciar. But just 3 metres or so between Uruguay and that try line. Another powerful surge. It's an arm wrestle.
Okay, Carl, thank you.
I don't think we've seen the ball for half a minute. We have now. There's Caminara.
And I don't think the Uruguayan backs are going to see it, so they'd be as well to join in, wouldn't they? Come in after.
There's a rat at the scrum half. Australia have come offside, so they can give it a go here, can the Uruguayans. Berchesi trying to wriggle his way through. Oh, he's held up. Look rather like the powerful limbs of David Pocock. Just a couple of blades of grass, that's all there is here between Uruguay and the try line. 2-0. Look at this. There's the ball. Oh, that... But I can tell you, they have got their try.
That's the
and
captain.
I think it was the captain, or the man who captained the side in the first 2 matches, Caminara. Well, that, in my view, the purest definition of a team try. For now, they've given...
Caminara scored it, but Diana picked up the ball. Let's see it again. What's the yellow boots? No, it's actually, it is Diana. It is Diana, and he's been brilliant.
Look at that shot of the kids there watching, and sheer delight from the Uruguayan support. Well, they were anything but persistent, weren't they, Uruguay? And as always in a game of rugby, you can try, and they'll remember that and put that one down in the history books. It's beat fresh every day.
So, Felipe Berchesi, can he take Uruguay into double figures? He can. For the South Americans. Well, it's been a stunning return here to the World Cup for Tavita. Putting his hand up, there are plenty of places going, I think, in the Wallabies 23. Is clean, I think, for the final phase to the Uruguayans. That scoreline has more than a hint of respectability, and we say that at the risk of sounding patronising, but when you consider that they at any other time but the World Cup, they came in here a golfing class. There is the gong. A throw there from Ulesi as Leilefano. Tamua being clamped by Caminara.
Stay away, ball is here.
The tackle from Rombis. Well, they're still playing here at the Wallabies. Kurandrani's got a reason to do that. 2 tries already for the big fella. Leilefano, Pocock. And Pocock loses it forward. The ball goes into touch. When they do leave this World Cup, they can never be stripped of the memories of that stunning win against Fiji. And on occasions here, they've held their own. It's not been the most where they will expect to return in a fortnight. And who knows, maybe even against England. Australia, back to winning ways.
Finals, not quite mathematically. Georgia still to come for the Australians next weekend. 4 years ago, Uruguay didn't manage to score a try against Australia and